Now, you know me, I'm a high-rolling social media influencer type, and yeah, I have expensive habits, like my collection of antique railway postcards. Do I have a problem? Mind your own business. That's the problem that I have, that you're not minding your own business. Anyway, the other day, I picked up this rather interesting one. Bank Station is perhaps one of the most infamous stations on the entire London Underground network. It's a maze of subterranean passageways stretching seemingly for miles, connecting multiple lines together. In fact, it's so big that it connects with Monument Station on the District line, but it also connects with Cannon Street on the District line. It's been rebuilt multiple times, so this view of the station is unrecognisable. It dates from the early days of the station, I reckon around 1904, based upon other postcards I've seen. It depicts the Central London Railway booking hall. The Central London Railway was opened in 1900 from Shepherd's Bush to Bank, or the Bank as this postcard has it. It was the third of London's deep-level tube lines after the City and South London Railway and the Waterloo and City line. It's still an important part of the network, only now it's part of the Central line. Bank Station was originally to be called Cornhill. The City and South London Railway station that had opened a few months earlier was called Bank, so I'm guessing that the Central London changed their station's name to align with that. Railway companies like to have postcards published advertising themselves, but the Central London Railway had the problem that it didn't really have any magnificent scenery or impressive structures to show off. So they published this. While it may not be much of a view, it does serve as an advert for the line. Let's take a closer look. Let's not look too closely at the creepy faces, though. The postcard describes the CLR as the Twopenny Tube, which was a famous slogan of theirs. In case you weren't clear what that meant, the photographer is careful to get the "Fare Tuppence to any station" sign in there. This was one of the CLR's great selling points. A flat fare, whether you were going one stop or to the end of the line. Now it should be pointed out that they weren't the first tube line to offer a tuppence flat fare. The City and South London Railway also did that, and had done since its opening in 1890. But they didn't embrace it in their advertising as enthusiastically as the CLR, and so the CLR became known as the Twopenny Tube. Note also the clothing of the customers. These are people from different social classes. That was the other thing about the CLR's fares. Most railways had first, second and third class compartments on their trains. The CLR did not. Now, in the snobbish society of Victorian and Edwardian England, there were people who severely disliked this policy. The CLR didn't care. It was a virtue. You, the warehouse worker or scullery maid, could ride in exactly the same comfort as the boss for just tuppence. I don't know if the people in this photo are posed or just happened to be there, but either way it shows that the CLR was an egalitarian railway. Note also the decor. The walls are tiled in white. This illustrated the railway's other great selling point. It was electric at a time when most railways employed smoky steam engines. Now again, they were not the first electric tube line, but they pushed it far more aggressively than anyone else. As part of this, they liked to emphasise the fact that their railway was clean. And they did so by means of white tiling that would show up any dirt. You can still see this tiling on the platforms at some of the older stations. I must admit that I was not aware that they carried this on up to the ticket halls, but clearly they did at Bank at least. The postcard shows the rather unsightly ceiling girders, but I suspect that the reason for this is so that they can also show that the space is illuminated by electric lights. These days, Bank looks nothing like this. In 1925, the Bank of England itself was rebuilt and the CLR station was part of that reconstruction. As if that wasn't enough, in 1941 the station was forcefully deconstructed by a German bomb. 56 people were killed and 69 wounded. The ticket hall had been directly hit and so had to be rebuilt again. There have been various other additions and alterations as the station as a whole has been upgraded and added to. This postcard, therefore, represents a version of the station that's long gone, literally buried in the past. But it's an interesting and useful artifact, nonetheless. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this promotional tale from the Tube. If so, please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more. I have some more postcards that I'd like to look at in a future video, so keep an eye out for that. I would like to thank my donors on Ko-fi, on Patreon, and here on YouTube for your support. You are the flat fare to my any station. And I'll see you all again very soon. Cheerio.